Ladies and gentlemen, when an artist has a great idea that he or she sees it in his head or in her head, but nobody else can see it. Nobody else can see the idea. The only way for us to see that artist's idea is for the artist to put it on a canvas and present that idea in some physical space so we can share the idea. When a musician has an exquisite piece of music, first only he or she hears it. It's only in his or her head. It's not real for anyone else. But that musician has to, if it's a composer has to create a symphony, has to create an opera, has to create something that we can hear. If a writer has a beautiful value to express, the idea is beautiful, but it's only in the writer's head. The writer has to express it, make it real for everyone else. Putting it into a physical space, putting it into a book allows everyone to share that moment. Beautiful ideas remain just ideas, just in people's head. We can't see it. They're not real unless it's placed into a physical place where people can share that idea. In Judaism, great ideas are meant to be acted upon. Great ideas are verbs. Great values are not meant to remain in somebody's head. They have to be placed into a physical space so that people can share them together. So the beautiful Jewish ideas like community, like participation, like relationship, these are great ideas, but we need some sort of physical expression of those ideas. That's why we always say that love is a verb, love is an action. Until it's acted upon, it's an idea that only one person can know is real, but to share it makes it real in Jewish terms. And that's what we're doing today and what we've been doing throughout the year informally about our new physical space. Through our physical space, we are able to act out beautiful Jewish ideas and to make them real. A child's first experience of friendship will happen in a physical space. A child's first experience of achievement, of learning, a teenager's feeling about leadership, or feelings like loyalty, a group identity, consolation during difficult times. These are beautiful words and they're beautiful values, but they need to be acted upon. And a new physical space, our new campus, will allow us that opportunity to make what might be in my head or your head, make them more real as we share them. This physical space will become our new canvas. It will become our new symphony, the physical space in which we will live out and act upon our greatest ideas. And that's why we're here today. That's why we're here 152 years after the first annual meeting. In some ways, we've been working on this moment during this past year and a half. And in some ways, we've been working on this moment for 152 years. I want to turn it back to Susie to continue the presentation.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Scoff. I'm going to take a few minutes to talk about how this campaign came to be. Rabbi Scoff has painted a picture of a new home for us, not filling in the details, which we're going to start to do today, but giving us the feeling that we can bring what is our heritage with us in creating a new home. The way this campaign came to be, the work was really done before I became president. Then big nod to Mark again. A survey was done of the congregation. As our congregation has moved east, which is really actually a big part of Jewish history, has been movement and continuity all at once. Our survey said that about 70% of our congregation really preferred to have everything located east, both for finances and for consolidation and for bringing together. We made what was, as you all know, a difficult decision to relocate, expand, remodel, and build on our eastern campus. At the same time, as Jews do, we respect our heritage and our past. You know, at the 150th, Jimmy, my husband's cousin Albert, spoke about, he remembers, and I think Dan's mother remembers, the 105th Street Synagogue. Many of us remember significant events in Cleveland Heights. There are those of you who only remember significant events at our Eastern campus. I think what is most significant is what these events have meant to us. And I look back at what previous generations have done for all of us. You know, my husband's family was part of a founding family that helped build Park Main. They provided a canvas for my family, and I feel really proud to be part of something that is providing something for the next generation, not just my own children, but for all of our children, because that's the way Judaism survives as a group. Someone said something to me earlier that Judaism isn't just about believing, it's about belonging. And what we can do is, by belonging together, as we create new experiences, we bring along our whole history and our past. I want to remind everybody we're still working on a good solution for Cleveland Heights, because I know that's important to people whose history is there. As we look forward, what we really are going to do, and I'm going to show you, and Rabbi Scoff, you're going to pitch in wherever I forget something. The latest animation of what our plans are for the new campus. It isn't all filled in. We've made a lot of strides since then because many of you have given me feedback. And I want you to know that your concerns about accessibility, security, beauty, acoustics, parking, everything has been brought to the architects and is being incorporated. Comfort's another thing. So you're not going to see that in the animation, but you are going to see the plan. And I just want to say that to me, this really just represents, you know, people think about Fiddler on the Roof. And if you remember the line at the end when he's singing Anatevka, he said, "Soon we'll all be strangers in a strange new place looking for an old familiar face." This is not Anatevka. We are going to be together in a new place and all our faces will be familiar to each other. So let's launch the animation, and I'm going to stop pieces of it to show you some things that may whiz by because it's a little brief. Okay, it's going to start with what we call the helicopter view, just to give you a feeling for how it lays out. So we're just going to see it from overhead, and you obviously can see that first what exists. We're moving towards the sanctuary. And Mackenzie, if you can just pause here for 1/2 a second. I don't know, can people see my arrow? I don't know. But in the middle, yeah, that's it. In the middle is going to be a beautiful plaza. What we have here is not how it's going to be landscaped. We have landscape architects, and this is going to be a beautiful space. We're going to come into it on this animation, but what this is going to be, we've looked at this entire campus as what are the various ways people want to use a synagogue. And one of it is just to be able to gather informally. And this is going to be a beautiful place. It will have benches to sit, it'll have trees, it'll have shade, and it's large. It's a large plaza, and it links together our old building and our new building on the outside. Okay, we can keep going. This is a new road parallel to Shaker Boulevard, and will be the entrance to our new building. We're going to just take a cursory look at it now as we move. And this is our new room, our new community hall. Now they're going to take us in the way we're used to going in. So you're going to get a feeling of how it's being changed. It feels familiar, doesn't it? In a couple of weeks, you can walk in. They're going to take us by the sanctuary. By the way, we're going to have some new seating, comfortable seating. By the sanctuary into what has been the men's club, our board room. This is going to become a chapel. This chapel has been named by a family in the congregation. And this is going to be a beautiful small chapel. pausing just a second to look at the art that the architects have designed, which I think is a beautiful complement to a small space. This will hold about 70 people, so it'll be lovely. And we can always add chairs because that's what we do. We always add chairs. But this will be a lovely intimate space for small services, for maybe morning minion. And yet the walls can still be opened up should we be having a large service to incorporate our chapel into our sanctuary. You can keep moving. The lectern you see is our bema lectern. We don't have a raised bema here. This is a small intimate room for an intimate experience, but you can see how the light comes in. A lot of people have asked about lighting in this building. The architects have done a lot of lighting studies so that in any room we're in, there has been some assessment of how light will hit your eyes and how light will affect the overall room. And we wanted the bema, the arc to be light and airy as the room is. We can keep going. Rabbi, jump in if I've blown anything here. Keep
No,
going.
you're good.
Now we're moving into the sanctuary. This looks so far like you're used to seeing it look. And one of the things you can't see in this is we are enlarging the bema and reorienting the bema. Reorienting the bema so that, as you can see, this room has been opened up. Now we can give a pause. This is our expanded sanctuary. And it actually won't have this many fixed seats. The one column you see, first of all, you can see a couple of columns are missing, but that column you see, the big one in front, that won't be there. And the roof lines, we had to keep some columns because we have to hold up the roof, but which I feel it would be something everybody would want. But there is continuity in the roof. So you will never feel like you're sitting and watching other people watching a service, which I know in the social hall, you're part of it, but you're not part of it. This way, you can be part of it. When this room is filled with our temporary seating and when the chapel walls are open, we can seat close to 500 people in this space. But we didn't want to give up the feeling of intimacy that we've had in the smaller space. So that's why there are less fixed seats. There are about 315 fixed seats. So we can have a Saturday morning service and the room will feel filled and yet intimate. And our goal is, how can we make it work many different ways? And you'll see as we go through this, that's been our thought all the way along. We can keep going. I've never done this when people haven't interrupted me, so I feel like somebody should interrupt me, but you can all ask me questions later. And now as we go out, we're going to turn left toward the school wing. But what you're going to see is a new space as you enter to get to the new building. This is our gallery. The family has donated this gallery, and we will be displaying art. We'll bring stuff with us from Park Main, and we will have new art. And this is really a central space because this gallery, which will be lit, leads us into the plaza foyer. And this is the nexus. We can stop for 1 second. This is sort of the nexus of both buildings. If you turn right, you're going to go into our addition. Back where we came from, you're going to go to the old building. And when you come from the outside, should you want to go through the plaza, there's a way to come right into the plaza foyer. They are going to do a little weird thing here with this animation because we're all of a sudden going to turn around and come in the new entrance. So we're going to meet back at the plaza foyer, but we're going to come into the new entrance. If you look at this, you can see that when you get dropped off here, and there will be a drop off, this road will be large, it will be covered. And we learn from our past. And here we are walking into the new room. Stop for 1 second. This is a large glass veranda. And you can see up above, that can come down and divide the space into 2 rooms. So you could have a meeting, you could have a luncheon for small, or this can accommodate a very large group of people. If you were having a function in the community hall, our Lois and Larry Davis Community Hall, which is to the left, this can be a pre-function area that can hold 300 people. Plus, it can spill into the outside, as you'll see. And at the very end of this, if you look, there's a group of chairs. We look at that as a family seating area where people can just sit and be together. And you'll notice that everything is windows because we're Clevelanders and we crave light. And this means even in our gray days, this room will be bathed in light. Okay, we can keep going. So you're seeing sort of the undivided space. And now they're going to take us outside to our going to be much better landscaped, beautiful plaza. And you can see we're going to have a wall that's going to be a decorative item of some sort at the back. And that screen, which protects us from the street in terms of screening, is really a design screen. I think you can all see the Stars of David on it. So we will have a view of that as well. Keep going. And now you're going to see the unique features of the part of this veranda that opens to the outside. And if you just pause for half a second here, this is our indoor-outdoor room. And we can hold a service here. You could be having a function, and people who want to be out of the sun can be inside. Anybody who's ever planned a wedding and worries about tents and rain and what happens, we have a permanently enclosed space that is both indoors and outdoors. The doors, the glass doors fold out into the wall. And I consider this an incredibly unique space. I think if I had to give a wedding again, which I don't, I would be so delighted to have a wedding in this beautiful space. Okay, we can keep going. I think they're going to take us into, done this enough times so that I'm fairly confident that they're going to take us into our new community hall. The one difference that you might see is as you come in, those are the doors. We're going to go in through the doors. This is going to be set up for service because our community hall can be used for both services and events. And you can see as you come in, there's a wall of windows and then there's clear story around. So this room should be bathed in light. There's only one wall that isn't going to have that clear story, and that's the wall that faces out onto the veranda. So on three sides, there'll be light, and on one, there'll be a wall of windows. It will be landscaped so that we will have some of that feeling of seasonality we had in Cleveland Heights, where you look outside and you are able to see at the high holidays, when they're not in summer, fall beginning. All of our holidays marked by our connection to the outside, we're actually going to be able to see when they're in this room. There are many seats on the floor, but we've been working so closely with the architects on a retractable seating system. You're going to see that. We can keep going. See, they're talking. They're not as religious as you would like them, Rabbi Scott. We wouldn't do that to him. I just want to give you a feel for how this, see, on his phone. Now, the way these seats work, people have been concerned, stop for 1 second, and feature the back window wall. Just put your arrow up there. One of the things we're doing with that back window wall is we're bringing the Agam panels and putting them along the back window wall. That's an emotional attachment that many, many people remember their kids playing with them, but that it just as our gallery is sort of the same, a bridge, this is a bridge of memory, and that we'll be bringing many things from the Cleveland Heights campus that are referential, including doing a great deal with our history that's going to be accessible and visual in our lobby. But these seats, we have sat in 3 different companies. They all are making them really custom to our needs so that we can get up, stand down, have a place for our prayer books, have a place for our talit. People can walk by each other. And what you can't see in this is behind the seating, there's a hallway, so that should you be on one side and have to leave or get to the other, you don't have to walk right in front of the whole congregation. One of the things I really like about this is for what I will assume is the younger people sitting in the back row, unlike the back of Rosenthal, you really have a good view. This room with all the seats can seat close to 800 people. So it's a big room. And it means that between our main sanctuary and this room on services, we can accommodate around 1,300 people. Okay, keep going. This is a real quick view of when it's set up for a party. You can see there's a dance floor in the middle, an undecorated room. They did not have a party planner. And they don't look actually to be eating food, but the kitchen's going to be remodeled and expanded, and the service corridor from the kitchen is going to be altered so that it's going to be easy access into this room. And it's, I think, going to be a beautiful place for the party. They're working on the lighting. The GOM windows will be in there. I've neglected to say that the ark will be built into the wall, and we will have a portable bima, so that should we use this for a service, we will have the feeling of a sanctuary. Keep going. And that is our animation. What it doesn't show is the parking. There's new parking northeast of our building. There's handicap parking nearby. You'll be able to get to both lots by going in if you come in from Brainerd. We're doing a traffic study. You know that Pepper Pike has given us their blessing, and we are really, really at this point ready to go. What I'd like to say before we start our video presentation is we are doing so much to bring our past with us as we create something new. And I feel like that's so much like we all live our lives. We all have such affectionate feeling from our growing up, our pasts, but what from generation to generation really means not that we do it exactly the same, but that what is essential, we give to the next generation. And we really are planning to do this in this building. We've listened to all of you. If you have more comments, send them. The architects listen to everything. We really hope that as we move and we bring each other with us, it's really how we look at home. Home is really where we are. And I'm really looking forward to being in our new place with all of you. So let's start our video.
נצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש לדור ודור לדור ודור לדור ודור נגיד לך ולנצח נצחים ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד כי כי אל המלך גדול, כי אל המלך גדול, וקדוש אתה לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך נקדיש. ברוך אתה אדוני.
Well, I hate to follow that, but we couldn't say from generation to generation any better. Thank you, Cantor Pisney. I'm just going to talk briefly about our goal, our fundraising goal, which is, as I think you've heard from me in pretty much every communication, is $32 million. The $32 million are to create this wonderful space, and as important, to enlarge our endowment so that the things that really make us our home can take place. All our programming, all our people that we employ, maintaining our building, and serving the needs of congregation in need can be affected. You know, we are a philanthropic organization. We're never going to be a revenue generating organization, and we accommodate our members in the way they most need whenever they most need it. So we wanted to make sure when we did this fundraising campaign that we would make it big enough so that we could really increase the size of our endowment. We have a wonderful endowment committee, and we have a formula where we certainly only use the interest for our endowment, but we must use it, and therefore it can't grow. So the only way it can grow is if we all participate in helping it grow. And may I say at this point, our congregation, in terms of our preliminary fundraising, before we have gone to all of you, we have raised over $28 million. So what we are asking from the rest of the congregation is a way to reach that $32 million goal. To speak about, some of our congregants have volunteered to really speak about their contributions, not in terms of amount, but in terms of what it means to them. So first, I'd like to introduce a couple of families. Our wonderful lead gift that is named our campus, other lead gifts, to do some speaking about Park Synagogue in our new location.
I feel like this is a safe haven, and in a time in our place in this world, to have a place where not only family and friends and community can come together feels like a rock sanctuary, safe haven.
We feel, Stacy and I, so honored that along with my mother, Sadell Miller, and our husbands, that we could name this new campus in honor and memory of blessed memory of our father, our grandparents, and our great-grandparents. But this is also about giving back to our community and helping ensure its livelihood and that it is here for us.
I am a 4th generation Park Synagogue member. My children are 5th generation Park Synagogue members, and it's home to us. It's the physical space and it's the emotional space. This is home. It feels good. It feels amazing to be back in this building. I feel so much more spiritually connected to Park, even just being here.
we should have a building that reflects our community and can be there for our community in a place where our community now is. And I think that's what Park East, which will become Park Main, means to us.
The time is now for us to come together and invest in Park East. It is the appropriate place that we all need to be. It makes the most sense. And if we don't do that investment now, it won't be here in the future. And what we really want is to continue all that Park is for our kids, our children, and their children.
People call it L'Ador Vador, from generation to generation. And we think this congregation deserves a building that goes from generation to generation.
I'm grateful for what Park Synagogue does for me and for my family. I know Park Synagogue and our community are there for so many others as well. And it's a really meaningful way to contribute to the community that does so much for us.
And we can all help make sure this is a place that thrives and helps our kids reach the next stages of their lives and let them become the next generations of leaders here at Park Synagogue.
Now, Rabbi Scoff is just going to discuss briefly what this unique opportunity is and how much we need all of you.
Well, sure. Listen, we know already. We don't all think the same way. We don't all look the same. We don't agree on everything. But there is the time and place where, even though we may look and think and behave and even believe differently, there are moments when we still feel and behave as if we are one big family. And this is one of those moments. The Hebrew word, which you know very well, echad, means one, as in an individual. But the word that comes from echad, which is a word called yichud, means together. So even when you're saying the word that means one, you're already thinking about being together with others. And this is the moment where one person, each of us as individuals, can act together with other individuals towards a single goal and create a sense of oneness in our community together. We encourage, of course, everyone to participate in their own individual way, but in concert with the group to involve the entire cross-section of all that we are and who we are as individuals, but involving the cross-section of those in our community to really create a sense of oneness of purpose, and oneness of values as we continue to support this wonderful campaign.
Thank you, Rabbi Scoff. I certainly couldn't have said it better myself. Now we're going to listen to some more congregants who have more to say, because this is really about all of us.
I think the reality of the movement of the Jewish community, the reality of the necessity to support the synagogue and to support the growth and development and the care of the synagogue brings us to the point where we need a bigger sanctuary here. We need more opportunities for the community to use the facility. And so I see this as the next realistic step for the growth, continuation, and expansion of Park.
Park East was built in the years that I was not living in Cleveland. And when we came back, it's still feels like home. So I'm actually excited to see it grow and feel like it'll feel very good and comforting in the same way that this building when it was new.
I think the main thing that it does for me is it gives me a stronger connection to Judaism, and it gives me another connection to kind of another branch in my life, because I have maybe a school branch, a family branch, but there's also a Judaism and Park Synagogue branch, and it's definitely extended a lot throughout the years here. So yeah, it helps me with learning and just more things that I can learn, because you're never done learning.
This is a place where I grew up. This is a place where my kids grew up. It's important. And to be able to be a part of such a nice thing was important and very meaningful to us, to me, and to us as a family.
I saw the passion and commitment on Kevin's face when he initially asked my opinion and knew he was so very committed to it that I immediately said, yes, this is something we must do. I think you need to accommodate your congregation and make sure you're in a location where your congregation lives and works and recreates and I think and grows. So as the community grows, so must, the building and the facilities.
It is important to be part of this campaign, part of this expansion, part of the improvement in any way, in any amount, because you will feel a part of it. A part of what you have done, what you have contributed, will go to the future of this synagogue, of your synagogue.
It's always fun to be part of something new. It's always fun to see some expansion and some building. I think that transition and that opportunity is really exciting.
Well, thank you to all of our congregants who've participated in this video. And again, thank you to our cantor who really provides the theme, which is from generation to generation. I'm just going to take a moment to tell you what this has meant to me. Sitting in this seat, I've really been, Rabbi Scoff is right. We are a group of very different people. And people have different needs of a synagogue, and people have different opinions. And I think I said this before, we're all Jewish, so sometimes the opinions are more vociferously expressed than others. And yet we are really all bound together, and we are bound together in this effort. When we hired a consultant to help us with our fundraising campaign, she told me something astonishing, which in most campaigns, these things are done by just, we're lucky if we get 30% of the people. And while we've had some wonderfully significant gifts, and everybody will be recognized who participates, some people will be naming spaces, some people will be named by plaques, but every single person who contributes to this campaign will be recognized. We plan to have a kiosk, I would call it, which has the names of everyone who has contributed. And I feel like every contribution, large or small, we've said stretch because this is a once in a lifetime gift, but a stretch means different things to different people. And I think any contribution will enhance our community, because this is truly, this is really for all of us. There are so many people to recognize and thank. I really would like to give my personal thanks to our clergy, to our staff, and to the campaign committee who have helped to put together this campaign, this video, and who have helped people to step forward. All of this is going to be on our website, the video, there are going to be photos, we have a brochure, we're going to have an easy way to give. You can donate online or you can download a pledge card. But what I am really hoping is that for everybody for whom Park Synagogue has served a purpose, can give us something, because when you come right down to it, this is us. It's not anybody else. This is us. This is our moment. This is our place, and we are the people. But I think we've really said what needs to be said. I speak from my heart when I say this has really been a very meaningful experience for me. This year of COVID, being president of Park Synagogue, and working with people on this campaign. I thank our board, I thank our executive committee, and most of all, I really thank all of you. I've gotten to know some wonderful people, wonderful, dedicated people, all doing different things, many thinking different things. And I incorporate all of you, and I hope you incorporate all of us. Thank you so much, and have a really nice day.